I just think, and just philosophically, pinning is a total mindset where, you know, if you're a coach, first of all, coaches love pinners, right? So it's the toughest position to work at because it takes so much work. It's the toughest position. You see guys that are riding really hard and they're like, oh man, this guy's too much, this is too hard, and they cut them. But the guys for us, especially when we're recruiting, like if I show up at a tournament, I know a guy's a pinner, I'm sitting around like, man, when's this guy gonna wrestle? So try to bring that mentality of toughness on top, you know, the philosophy of back points equal bonus points. And I think it's really added a great special element to our program. Now the guys are brainwashed a little bit now, and they're like, you know, some of them are pissed when they walk off the mat because they're, you know, they're not getting the pin. So my philosophy, philosophically, it's like if you're tough on top, you're tough in all positions. So that's what we really try to bring to the table here.
This is where you break somebody too. I mean, you know, 6 mat returns.
Sorry about this, Coach. You know, first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
No, this is great.
He'll be nice.
Want me to use the other stuff? So
his elbows bother.
Oh yeah. Okay. So listen, totally different from so the guys. So this year I had to totally divulge back into my teaching to get a little bit more detail oriented on things that I was doing. It's almost a totally different series from the breakdown things that I've been doing. The guys have helped me become a much better top guy as far as detailed and what we're actually doing. So everybody talks about the Blair ride. Mine's a little, and I went to Blair for 4 years. My series is a little bit different in the fact of what we're attacking. So what's different now, okay, first of all, a good top guy, just so you know, they ride with legs. They ride with their legs and knees. The arms are just there for the ride. My point being that if you're up here like this, right, and this is an open space, everything this guy does is going to start from a hip motion, whether he's coming up, he's sitting out. So the one thing we've tried to do, okay, is right off the whistle, we're getting in here and we're pinching and we're riding. So to attack, to be a good top guy, you have to attack legs and hips with legs and hips. Okay, so the big thing we're getting to, and I'll get right into it. I'm talking a little bit, but like pinching and moving. So when I go, all right, typically I go like inside pry right here to stop his hip motion, and I'm pinching. Now I'll do like like a spiral, and I'll pull his hips this way to get to a near wrist, or I'm pulling his hips over here like chop near wrist. Anything to get to the near wrist. Is his shoulder bad?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
He's really pulling me too. Like this arm right
Yes.
here is pulling me this way really hard. So it's creating a lot of weight here, which is really getting into that single wrist easily.
So that's a huge point, actually. When I go, I'm jamming his ribs in here with my forearm, and I'm moving his whole base. The problem is everybody's like, oh, drive forward, drive forward. If I want to get to this wrist and actually have an effective chop, I have to move his weight this way. Like if he doesn't move his arm here, see, I'm just pulling him off his base this way. So I pull and spiral, and the wrist is usually right there. It helps much easier for a chop because there's weight on this arm, and I can chop and get to the near wrist. So when I get to the near wrist, the big thing we're doing right now is we're pouncing on it with the knee block. This is the big thing. So as soon as we get here, everybody's like, pull the wrist in, pull the wrist in. No, you bring your body to the wrist. So I'm hopping here, and I'm knee pinching right here. This blocks every type of motion from this guy being able to do anything right here. Okay? And we're also to the side, so it looks really good from a referee perspective. We're off to the side. We're not riding here and sitting. We're out here. Now, the big thing for me, it's like how the body works. So to get the wrist on the back, you know, when I attack, I want to pull this way. Okay? So I don't want to pull in. I actually want to turn this elbow. The shoulder will go right down. So I get to that near wrist. I pounce on it. I secure it. Now I'm going to start to turn this out. His shoulder's going down. Okay? And now I'm going to circle his hips and pull him right down. Okay, you can go to the butt, you can go to the hip. From here, I'm attacking, I'm coming back two hands on the wrist, and I'm driving forward with my chest and weight. Big thing now, okay, is riding this up, bottom knee up, and securing and pinching. And the big thing I'm trying to get my guys to do is pinch with knees and pinch with legs, feet here, to secure it. Problem is, most people ride loose like this, and if he starts coming up, I'm getting thrown from the horse. So again, attacking legs and hips with legs and hips. Okay, and I'm here. Okay? So, from this position, getting here, I'll get right into like just 1 or 2 turns. But big thing we're doing on top now, we used to like just hold the wrist and insert it. What I found out what I'm actually doing is transferring to a cross wrist. So as I bring this over here, okay, I'm changing my grip here to a cross wrist, and I'm pulling this arm across his body, and I'm changing hips, and I'm pulling this way. Because what will happen, what typically happens, if I'm sitting here and I'm digging for this bar, yeah, now he's hiding it. So I use my weight, and I pull really hard here. Now, this is great. He's going nowhere. I'm going to punch right here, okay, and get my fists in his back. The next big thing, we call this elbow over shoulder pressure. I'm running my hips right in the back of this elbow. This is what really hurts, and it makes the guy want to go over. So I pull, I insert, I eliminate this space, and I run up here and I block with my hips. Now this guy's going nowhere. Look, he's ready to be turned now. And it's all legs and hips from here, much more powerful than arms. Next step, I'm going to punch down, get underneath his throat and chin, and I'm going to pull him across this way and pull him into the pocket. My top leg's going to secure right here, and I'm holding to get points. What I like to do to get into my pin here, the GTS, the Go to Sleep type series, all right, I'm going to punch this arm deep. Now I'm getting my points, and I'm going to trick him. I'm going to release. I'm going to shoot this guy forward, and I'm going to hop up here. The next thing that we're doing, and I didn't talk about this at the clinic, is putting guys on what I call the chopping block. Okay? So it sounds pretty funny, but it helps with the teaching. But literally, I'm here. As this guy comes up, I hold this position, and I hop up, and I slide my knee right in the back of his head, and I put him right on the chopping block. So how I articulate my teaching, so it's corny and stupid, but it resonates and brainwashes guys. I get down, and I say I'm going to karate chop the throat. I'm going to start sawing his throat until I find my lock underneath, and I'm going to suck him right back here and get the pin. Okay? So, again, quick. All right, teaching guys, you'll probably see it in practice. Riding and pinching with legs. I attack with my pry, and I'm pulling his hips this way, circle. Okay? Now remember, I'm pouncing right to this knee block. Now from here, I'm driving shoulder on shoulder, and I'm driving, twisting that out. His shoulder goes down, I pull his hips down. Now I'm doubling up on the wrist, driving chest forward to my cross wrist lean. Punching, running my hips in the back here, getting right to the throat, pulling this guy over, holding, getting points. I release and I shoo him forward, right up the chopping block, saw throat, lock hands, bring him back here. The one quick term we're working on, okay, that I'm trying to get my whole team to do this. Some guys are really good. Last quick turn I'll show you. Stever, you guys know who he is, made his living off of this. He absolutely killed people here. Mine is a little different. He liked to come here, and I think he went claw. He would go like claw and then hop into a tilt. What I'm doing here, and this is hugely important, okay, to get quick points, as I pull this hand out, I'm letting it rest right here. Okay, I'm letting it rest right on his side. So I have his arm secured, I'm pulling it out, it's resting on his side right here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a reverse underhook on this side. I'm not going half, because if he goes half, he'll pinch down on it, right? So I'm going to go for like a little hook, and I'm going to hop my hips in, and I'm going to pull him down all in one motion. So here, I pull the wrist out, it's sitting here. Notice my body is blocking the wrist, so the ref really can't see what's going on either. Now I'm just going to hop in and pull. Right here, my hips block the wrist, legs come in, and I hold him here. Couple different options. I mean, you could throw in double boots and come back up on top. Okay, you can release and come around this way on top of the throat here and throw your legs in. One of my favorites now is an elbow over the head half, where I'll scoop at his elbow so his arm can't get forward. If I'm trying to half you, he can punch forward. If I scoop at the elbow, he has zero power, and I run elbow over the head half, and I hop up and pin. I'm just releasing Coach Ayers' hand there, so his arm doesn't come off. So those are a couple of quick turns that we've really been working on with the program. But again, it really comes back to the riding, turning, the breakdown part. The philosophy is, if you can get the breakdown, the turning and pinning is easy. The work comes with what Coach Ayers said in breaking the guy and getting to a secure position. The secret to this ride, though, is on that knee block. Literally, I'm watching our freshmen now, kind of our next generation coming up, killing some of the older guys by just pouncing to that knee block right there. The other thing it does, and then I'll stop. But the other thing it does, I'm tiring this shoulder out. So I'm to the side and I'm driving in and I'm pulling on this wrist. It'll eventually come out. or the guy's just going to lay flat because it's in a tough position. What happens here, this is pretty funny though, the guys fight so hard there to try to get the wrist free, they actually tire themselves out, is what happens. It's almost like jiu-jitsu. I'm there actually resting for the most part. I'm just resting, I'm breathing, letting my weight and pressure settle in while this guy wears himself out. And then I circle in like a shark and go to town. So that's as quick as I can do it, but any other questions with that?
When you're on there with that knee block, and I'm not sure, in a live situation, are you on your toes kind of resting on them, or are you kind of just hanging out on your knees, pressuring forward with that shoulder?
So I'm being nice to him.
Yeah.
That's actually a huge point. So if I'm really on this guy, so the knee block secures. Now sometimes I'll get up and I'll sprawl my weight in here and I drive in. Now when I feel like he's ready to give me that arm, okay, that you're absolutely right. I'm being nice right now.
Sure.
The knee block secures it as it tires out. Just turn a little bit. Then when I feel like I'm ready, sometimes if the guy doesn't go down either, I'll start sprawling. This isn't going to feel good. I'm going to sprawl and drive my weight into him, almost like it's like defense driving in here, weight and toes, and I drive in and I crush him right now. The guy goes down there. So I'm being nice to him now, but I definitely hop off my knees, and it's chest pressure, chest and hips in, that crushes the top of the back of that shoulder joint. That wrist comes right out there. So yeah.
He opened my eyes a little bit. I mean, my era of wrestling, that time frame was all takedown tech. There was no funk. Mat wrestling was kind of ignored. And then he came and I realized, man, we got to get good on top. And it's been a huge, Top Guy can beat a lot of better wrestlers than them. If you have ever seen a Top Guy, and people are afraid of Top Guy too. They're like, what? Take neutral, like you get yourself a 3-point. So we emphasize top, even for guys that aren't top guys coming in, we try to make them into top guys because that's a scary thing when you're underneath and you can't get out, and you can inflict some harm on people. And his whole series is great.
Neat thing too for us, a 4 count is 4 points for college. So that you get a takedown and a turn, you blow a match wide open. That's 6 points right. I'm getting like fired up right now. That's 6 points right off the bat. That's like, with riding time in another turn, you're already like almost to a major, So that's the thing that I'm really exciting. It's like, it's not takedown and then, I got the takedown. It's takedown and get right to your freaking turn, pounce on him, mat return, right to a turn. We do a lot of that drill. So yeah.